In this video, I want to share the biggest threat that is affecting businesses all around. Let's get started. Now, one of the questions that you might have is, Salman, what is this biggest threat that is affecting every single agency business, consultants, coaches? Well, that is called churn. What does churn mean? Churn in business is bad. It's not a good thing. Churn means customers aren't happy with their service for whatever reason, and then they decide to cancel, thus costing you tens and thousands of dollars if you cannot retain your customers that you're closing. So there's many different ways to attack this problem, but one of the things that I want to do today in this video is to help you analyze your churn and fix it. Now, I talked to an agency owner this week, and typically my question is around the three biggest challenges that we fix here at ClickX: leads. Number one, sales. I can't convert the leads that I'm getting. And the third is I don't have enough resources to scale the fulfillment. So I talked to this agency owner. I said, hey, so what is your biggest challenge? Like, what's your biggest roadblock or barrier that's preventing you from hitting your goals? He said, Salman, it's not any of those. He said, it's retention. Can you help me retain better? And I started to untangle that a little bit and said, well, tell me more about fulfillment. You know, who is doing the work? If a roofing guy came to my house and was going to fix my roof and I wasn't happy with it, I want to blame the team for not doing the right work. I can blame the sales team, and I can also blame how the leads are being generated so that we can figure out how to fix this retention problem once and for all. So this leads me to my 5 favorites that agencies should be using to retain better. I want to start you off with a book that you may or may not have heard of. What does the 5 love languages have to do with customer retention? Retaining relationships. The reason I even thought about that book is we do a lot of things to acquire leads and customers, and we got fulfillment and teams and reports and all these amazing things, but you might do all of that and you might still not retain. And you might wonder why. What am I doing wrong? Well, fundamentally, we're all wired differently. And in fact, in this book, you learn that different people want to be loved differently. Some people want to receive gifts, and other people want acts of service and all these different things. So if you convert that idea to customers, customers might like you to text them. Maybe that's the mode of communication that they like, or maybe they want a consultant to get on a call with them every 2 weeks. Or some customers are extremely aggressive, and we have an assessment here called the DISC assessment. Inside it, we call them the D, the direct. They're very fast, short. So if your customer is a high D and your person is like a social butterfly, that person's not going to be very happy with your business. It has nothing to do with you and your ability to perform the work. There's a lot of different types of clients out there. Not every client is a good fit. And this idea of understanding your clients way before you convert them will help you figure out how to grow and scale your business. So my first thing I want to teach you guys is choosing clients carefully. What do I mean by that, choosing client carefully? You see, not every client is a good fit for your business. So when you're in a desperate mode, you bring on customers, and then they may not be a good fit. No matter how hard you work, they're just not going to be happy. So we built a sales process here at ClickX to teach agency owners, entrepreneurs, consultants, coaches, you know it, learn better to find these perfect opportunities. Now, I'm not going to go over the entire scale sales system. It's called the scale sales system, and every letter here, represents S and C, and addressing their issues, linking emotions, and finally showing your expertise leads us to finding the perfect fit customers. It leads us to building a relationship well before you ever make them buy your services. In fact, this is not about you, the agency owner, the consultant. This is about the client. 80% of this is not about you. It has nothing to do with you. It's understanding whether or not this opportunity that is presented to you is a good fit for you. And it doesn't even matter if the lead came as a referral or is inbound or is outbound. It's finding out way, way, way before the churn happens that whether or not this is an opportunity. Now, this is one of the ways that you can understand. You see a lot of salespeople, they oversell, overpromise, underdeliver. You heard this before. And a lot of people want to underpromise and over-deliver, but because you're under pressure, you want to get sales, you're like, oh yeah, we can get in the first page of Google in 65 days. But then the customer's got that expectation. No matter what we do, the sales teams already blew it up and it's impossible for us to get in front of that problem. What does over delivering look like? Or you might want to look into your book of business and say, are we really over delivering? Are we going the extra mile? Are we giving them everything we possibly can? Here at ClickX, our vision was to build a agency scaling program that included leads and also fulfillment so they can get some customers. And then our agencies were struggling with leads, so we built a lot of lead generation solutions, and today I think we have the best lead generation solutions for agencies. One of the things happened is that they weren't converting these leads. So what did I do? I went to work and built the scale sales system, and we teach the scale selling system, and that was a value add. We are not a sales training company, but today we are. We started off trying to help my struggling agency owners to sell better. So now we have lead section, sales section, and fulfillment section. It all was because we wanted to go the extra mile for our customers to really think hard. So if you want to know how happy your customers are, what you do is what's called the NPS score. You're just asking them, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer us to your customer? If they're not willing to refer you to their friends, colleagues, their network, they're not happy. You're not over delivering. There was instances where we sold Facebook ads, but then we really realized that Facebook isn't going to work for them. What they really need is Google ads. So whether it costs more or less, what we did is we just switched it and we took the hit. Most agents will be like, that's not going to make me profitable. But at the end of the day, what's important? Is it important to build that relationship where I could get 10 million more referrals from that person, or is it trying to make $500? Really, at the end of the day, is this relationship worth it? And I think most people see this as a transactional relationship. We have clients that have been with us for 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 years. So I don't have the same challenge that a lot of agencies face, which is having clients for 90 days and only 90 days. And I can tell you that it's because not only the team that's doing all the work is amazing, it's also because we set the right expectation from day one. You can't over deliver in many, many instances if you're selling different services that are not connected in any way. One of my secrets is leverage service. What is a leverage service? Every time a new customer comes on board, if I could reuse all of my stuff, I can grow. You probably flew on a plane sometime. The pilot, when he gets to an altitude of 30,000, 35,000, whatever it is, everything is good. What he does is he puts the plane on autopilot. He doesn't need to sit there and monitor anything. He already got it off to a great altitude and things are smooth. It's because the plane's capable of doing that. It already has all the systems in place. And your business cannot do that if you don't have consistent deliverables, consistent types of leads coming in, consistent problems you're trying to fix. And it was the same reason why Dunkin' Donuts doesn't sell tacos. These people have their fixed menu, fixed deliverables. They have a leverage. They have their suppliers lined up, the training lined up. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. And one of the things we want to do here at ClickX is to build a business that is fundamentally going to be very scalable. We teach this model. Our program is called Scale. But I just want to reiterate you, if you're not using something that's technically a leverage service, you're going to run into a lot of unscalability issues, and that unscalability will lead to more retention issues. And the 3 things that I really look for is who are we going after and what are we selling to them? Probably the biggest thing that you're challenged with if you're struggling in retention. And if not, this is the time to create. I meet a lot of agency owners in their early days and I talk about retention, but they have no idea what I'm talking about because we've been there, done that, and done this for hundreds of people. You know a thing or two about picking a niche and building an offer because later on you become a much more scalable and a sellable, repeatable process business. The second is, well, once I know who I'm going after, what I'm going to sell them, then it's time for me to go after the leads that are those kinds of businesses. It never makes sense to go after leads if you don't know what you're trying to sell them. In fact, I do a lot of audit on people's cold emails and outreach strategies and LinkedIn messages, and I often stop them and say, well, does this thing that you're talking about scream commodity? Are you saying the same thing every other agency is saying? Are you expecting like miraculous response rates? Do you think this is the first time this kind of business got pitched digital marketing? Negative. They've gotten 150 last week. So you can't say, I help people with lead generation and expect to make $10 trillion. It's just not gonna work. But if I say I help this kind of business with that specific problem, that's a little bit better of a niche. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be I go after plumbers or roofers. It could be very specific. And I don't wanna go in, this is not a niche selection call or a training, but that's why that is at the very top. And then once I know how to generate those leads and those appointments, my next job is to train my salespeople how to sell like this as the leader in your industry who serves that type of customer. This whole thing has to be top down, designed in a way that we can eliminate churn. In other words, at least stick with us for a year. That's way better than 90 days. That's what I mean by leverage service. If you don't have that, that would be something that I would highly, highly recommend. Now, my next thing is doing things that are inherently unscalable. Customers are going to ask you different questions, different challenges you're going to be faced with every single day. Some customers want Excel spreadsheets, while others want PowerPoint. I have customers come in and say, we're having a board meeting, give me all the things you've done ever since I started working with you. Like stuff that just don't make any sense. But I can say, you know what, client, I don't do that. That's not what I do. I'm gonna bill you for that. What I'm doing is I'm creating friction in my relationship. I could sit here and make phone calls to every single one of my customers. Hey Bob, how you doing? Hey Tom, how you doing? And some people look at their calendars, I have no time to do that. What about the team? They don't want to do repetitive tasks because it's not scalable. They'll be like automated. And guess what? If you automate a bunch of emails, it goes to spam, they never see it, they never got the value. There's a million things that you can do to show your customers that you care and you love them and that you want to help them and you're there for them. But those things aren't going to be easy to do. You can go to their offices, you can fly and visit them, rent a hotel in a car and spend $2,000, but you don't know that they have 20 other clients or friends that they could refer you with. There's a lot of things that we just don't do because they're not scalable. So we recently had a free training here. It's called the 100K Scale Training. I said, you know what I can do? We can get over here, write a little note saying, see you tonight, Michael, and take pictures and send it to them in an email. I bet that might get a couple more people to show up. So my team and I wrote every single person's name, took picture on an iPhone. We sat there and emailed every single person. You can see that here. But the fact of the matter was, it was just our way to show somebody that we truly care about them, that they're just not a number. It's not a number in my funnel and I have 37% conversion rate and then 1,400 shows up and then I close 15%. And guess what? I'm dealing with human beings. They're real people, maybe struggling. They need to get to this business off the ground. They need help. And they're trying to learn things about, they're too skeptic to want to get on a sales call because they're scared they're going to be sold to, but they're curious enough that a 1 hour free training doesn't seem like a bad idea. I said, how do I build relationship? How do I build rapport? Because that person might be the customer that's going to be the biggest customer of the month. But if I don't nurture that relationship, I'm probably not going to get the customer. Are you doing those unscalable things so that you can build those relationships that are long lasting? And that leads me to my last piece, is having a culture of care. I've had millions and millions of these customer service interactions in my lifetime. Customer service reps are taught to do one thing and one thing only: field all the emails and make it go away. Or I've gotten those other emails where they said, you know what, we're sorry that your thing didn't work. We want to send you a new one. You'll get shocked when you just get this once in a while, people just want to take care of their customers. And it's so uncommon these days. Today, more than ever, I go on websites and I ask a question trying to get a person. I get a whole bunch of AI typed up answers saying, did you answer your question? I'm like, is there even a human being there? Is there like somebody? And they hit the phone numbers, no email address. And it seems that that personal connection is a lost art. And the challenge is we're dealing with old school business owners. They built the business shaking hands, building relationship one at a time. And there is no trust because this is a new modern way of communicating. What they want is the complete opposite of what everybody else does. So if you build a culture of care, you're going to tell people to pick up the phone and call Bob and say, hey Bob, guess what? I saw your email. I know you're frustrated. I'm going to do everything I can to fix it. Not say, Bob, we're looking into it. Thank you so much. You'll hear from us in 24 to 48 hours, like something that came from another country. That is not even written. It's copied and pasted over and over with 4 different colors of font and sizes. That's the challenge. What do you need to do to build a better business that is going to attract the right customers into your world and to retain them years and years of working with them? Let me tell you what you're going to do to retain them. It's not going to be treating them like a number. At ClickX, we do a lot of unscalable things. I get on phone calls, I do Zoom calls, I do therapy sessions, whatever I need to do to help an agency partner out. Sounds absolutely insane, but I do it. I text people from my iPhone, voice drop a memo and say, hey, listen, I got this, I'll fix this for you. Let's do a call at 8 o'clock at night, whatever I need to do to help you out. Because that relationship to me means so much more than the few $100 that we charge. Trust me, it's not about the few $100s, it's about how many years of relationship can I build And how much value can I give that person over that time? And how do I 10x that? You see, if you can solve that problem, they pay you $1,000, and if you can give them $10,000 back every single month and it's visible and measurable, why would they ever cancel working with you? So that's your question today. I get asked this retention question a lot, but I work with a lot of agency owners that haven't even gotten that yet. But bigger the agency, churn is a real business busting problem. In fact, it could be so bad that every year you're replacing all your customers. If you have more questions, there's a link below to apply for the Scale program. And if you want to chat more about retention, acquisition, and more, you can apply to the Scale program to find out if this is the right fit. As always, thank you so much for watching another White Label Wednesday. I'll see you next time.